take your kids back from the government now. Vodi Bachman said, don't be surprised when you send your kids off to Caesar and they come back as Romans. If you can take over the next generation and educate them up, you can get them to believe whatever you want. If you want to rescue the next generation, we've got to take them out of government schools. Whatever it costs, go into debt if you have to. And I do not like that. So when I say that actually is a big sticky point for like, bro, this is how important it is. Take your kids back from the government now, whatever the cost. I know it's hard. Figure it out. Maybe you can't turn that key today. Make a plan over the next year to get them out of the government schools.
I agree with you. I think it may have been Nick Freitas that was saying it. You could take a poll and ask just about everybody, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, do you trust the government?
Yeah.
How many people trust the government that you know?
I interviewed some people like recently, and somebody said that they did trust the government. I don't believe them, but I just like. But I have it on video on my channel where somebody said that. So I have to say, well, there was this one wingnut of a person who said they trust them. But your point remains, no one trusts the government.
Point being, why would you trust your kids to be educated by the government?
Right. Vodi Bachman said, don't be surprised when you send your kids off to Caesar and they come back as Romans. Like, that's it. That's it, man. You're wondering why everyone's gone woke and has no idea what bathroom to use anymore. Just if like, what happened to our kids? I'm like, well, you gave them to the government for their entire childhood. You saw them at dinner and you attended their sporting events, but the government raised your kids, and social media helped, and video games or whatever. But you saw them every day, but you didn't raise them. You didn't log enough hours each day to counteract all the poison and time wasting and ideological propagandistic crap that they were getting fed year after year after year. And so millennial generation and now Gen Z has gone woke. And we feel like, oh, what happened to my daughter? We raised him better than that. No, I mean this in love. But you didn't raise them at all. That hurts to say because I know it hurts people to hear, but the government raised them, and that's what happened. Government and social media hijacked a generation, and we trusted that they were being taught good information that wasn't undermining our values. But there's been a psyop in play for decades, which is undermining our values and waging war against the family unit.
What do you think the goal is behind that?
Control.
Control of everything?
Yeah, I think the people in power want one thing. It's what all people in power have always wanted for all human history. The people in power want more power for longer.
Who do you think the people in power are? How deep do you think this goes?
I think a lot. One is the ones you see are the puppets. There are politicians there. Who's dangling those puppet strings higher off? If they think there's powerful companies that you've had enumerated on this channel and billionaire, trillionaire types around that want to control in the shadows. So there's certainly players like that, and you see their fingerprints everywhere with all the woke stuff that actually has a very formal funding mechanism behind it. It's not just a groundswell of what people want. It's actually being pushed from the top down on culture, forced on culture, quite literally. In our school systems and in our corporations, it's being crammed in. And so you can't see that and not deny that there are folks who have really figured out over the last 50, 60, 70 years how to perfect tyranny in a model that doesn't lead to some of the upsetting overthrows that their forebears of Mussolini and Pol Pot, Mao, Hitler, of like, they had the control that these globalists want, but they were also targets and they had uprisings against them. How do you control people without ever being a target and while giving them the feeling of collectivism so that they feel free, but they aren't free? Orwell thought maybe it'll be by force you'll do it. Aldous Huxley thought, no, you rule them through their desires, through dumbing them down, by allowing them to entertain themselves to death. You can control them indefinitely. And so what they did is like, oh, we'll take some Orwell and we'll take some Huxley. We'll blend it together in a massive psyop so we can have massive amounts of power and control forever. The thing that would stand in the way of it, a few things of like, one, religion. Religion is the thing that, won't bend a knee. It will unreasonably not compromise. And so if you eliminate religion, people will worship politics. If you don't, if they hold out religion, then there's something higher than politics that holds that politicians have to be, or world controllers have to bend the knee to, and is in competition. That's why Marxism or any tyrannical communistic system immediately moves to eradicate religion, because totalitarian control cannot exist while there is a vibrant and widespread religious faith going on.
I think that's very hard for Western culture, Americans in particular, to wrap their head around.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at what's going on in North Korea.
Yeah.
Those people actually believe Kim Jong-un, or whatever his name, whatever the new one's name is, it's Kim Jong-un, right?
Yeah.
They think he's God. They think Kim Jong-il was God. They think that is, the state is the religion.
Yeah.
That is the end-all, be-all.
Incredible.
So
I think religion is something that they want to quell and destroy, and they've done a good job of that. Also, I think the family unit is a bulwark against this progressive ideology, and so they've destroyed the family unit, and they want to take over America's youth. If you can take over the next generation and educate them up, you can get them to believe whatever you want to believe, and so that's how you get the next generation, is you train them for compliance. You demoralize them utterly, and that's happened to Gen Z. They're utterly demoralized. And another thing is you want to declaw the strong men. And so there needs to be a war on the family. There needs to be a war on masculinity. There needs to be a war on religion. And what do you see? You see all these very late in the game, where all these institutions, for lack of a better word, are just barely limping, much less alive in the sociological structure that we see. This is very late in the game for America. The jury is out on whether we survive this, because all of our institutions of power have been hijacked.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes, so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.